But I think it's time for you and the people of the internet to learn a really cool loophole.
If the loophole is lying in court, I am not going to do that.
You can get as many tickets as you want.
Welcome to the Sent and Bent podcast. We're going to go over a bunch of stuff in this episode, and I'm going to ask Steven what he would do with $1 million, because he wasn't there when we asked that on the other podcast. I just wish that Sandpoint was like Latvia. Do you know about Latvia, Will?
Where's Latvia?
Street racing is legal there.
What?
Yeah. It's
You
in
can just
Eastern
race
Europe.
wherever you want.
Yeah. There's Beamer boys everywhere. Drifting,
Really?
doing donuts in intersections. Oh, you know the Riga Baby video? That's my favorite YouTube video.
That's there?
in Latvia.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like everyone should do, that because then you weed out the weak. Like if you can't keep up in traffic, then you don't need to be on the road.
I think that maybe there just need to be like green zone places. It's like there's this place that's far away from like regular people. This is where you're allowed to street race between this and this time at night.
We
That
can
makes
call
sense.
it the Shrek zone.
Yeah. Because like then if you're not endangering innocent bystanders, I think it should be okay.
Yeah.
Because if you're just risking your life and the person you're racing's life, that's up to you.
Yeah, that's up to you.
And that shouldn't be, you shouldn't be able to like sue the state of Idaho because your kid died drag racing or whatever. You shouldn't be allowed to do that, because if your kid's drag racing, then they know what they're doing.
They made the choice to do the drag race.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like people never really die drag racing. Maybe that's not true.
I know people die street racing, which is like not drag racing, but kind
On
of
cars?
what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh.
But that's just on public roads. So like it's really easy
it
to
seemed
die
like it
on
would
a
be
public road.
safer it was legal. Like I wonder
Yeah.
what the safety stats are in Latvia.
Yeah. I wonder.
We should look
Maybe
that up,
We
too.
should look it up.
Yeah.
I'd be really
We need
interested.
a Jamie. You know how Joe Rogan has Jamie and he can
Yeah, and
Google
he
everything?
looks things. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need that.
We don't even have internet. We're in the middle of nowhere.
I know it took me like 5 minutes to look up gold price.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I was
know,
gonna do the same.
This is. I should have chosen a more comfortable vehicle to sit in.
You guys might be onto something that maybe people would die more if road racing was legal.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, especially like here. Think about the average
Here.
American's responsibility level.
Yeah. That's true.
It's not the same as other parts of the world.
Yeah, we're a bunch
Like
of
if we had an
crazies.
Autobahn, it would be like
It would be
Can you
so
imagine if
scary
we had
if
an
we had the Autobahn here.
That's basically what I was theorizing of. It already exists. The Autobahn.
Isn't there still a limit though?
Yeah,
on
I
the
thought there
Autobahn?
was.
Like I think they still have a limit.
No, I think it's anything within reason. And if you're in the fast side, because there is still like the normal car side of the road,
And then there's
there's
fast
speedy boys.
side.
Have you been to the Autobahn?
Last time I was in Italy, it wasn't an Autobahn, but I got passed by a Ferrari going at least 180 for sure. It was
Nice.
the craziest thing. I was going probably like 70 or 80, and it went by so quick through a tunnel that only reason I knew it was a Ferrari is because of the headlights.
You saw the
the
Raging
taillights.
Horse logo.
I just saw that bigger tail light to the smaller one, but where they're both smaller, not like
Yeah.
an R34 where they're very big and then a little smaller.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, the fastest I'd ever seen a car go on a public road. It was the craziest thing ever.
That's very nice.
Yeah. But in
Wow.
Italy, like, I hear, because I asked people in that next town, I'm like, oh, wow, I got passed by like Ferraris and Lamborghinis going like so fast, and there were cops there. I'm like, oh, yeah, sometimes they'll pull you over if they want to check out the car just to like see how cool it is. Yeah. Because there's like this Italian pride,
Yeah.
man. Like, Ferrari is a religion in Italy, for real.
Really?
They call them the Ficassi, there is a name.
Man, I wish cars were a religion and
I know. Well, they are for you.
United
You're of the
States.
Subaru religion.
yeah, I know.
But it is so intense. Like, Em and I've been watching mad Formula One. And so we went to Monza to watch it. And the fandom is like crazy. Like before qualifying, they put up this huge Ferrari flag in the grandstand, and like people come prepared. Like they have this giant flag stashed in their backpacks, and they open it and they send 2 of their guys up to the top, and 2 of them hold it on the bottom.
What?
It covers the entire grandstand, like huge, and we're all like hitting it and like doing the Ferrari chants and stuff. And I don't know Italian, so I was like, yeah.
You're like,
Yeah. But a lot of it's easy, like the ole, 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 like that one.
Yeah.
Like Seven Nation Army, you know, like at football games, da, 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 da. So I could do that. But the Italian ones, I didn't know what they meant. They could have been getting me to say anything, and I was just tagging right along. Mob mentality, man. But they had these flags, and like, it was just so crazy because it really seemed like the Ferraris weren't going to win. This was at Monza.
Did they win?
Max Verstappen has just been crushing this season. If he won this race, it was going to be the most consecutive races won in Formula One ever.
But he didn't win the race.
So the favorite Ferrari to win is Charles Leclerc. The other one is Carlos Sainz, who hadn't been doing that great this season. So Leclerc goes over, gets pole position. The crowd goes absolutely nuts, spinning around their shirts and their flags, and everyone's standing and dancing and singing for like 5 seconds. And then Max goes over and takes pole, and everyone just sits down because like there's no chance in Sainz beating him, right?
Yeah.
Because he had been the slower Ferrari all year. Then Sainz just comes cruising, beats him by like the fraction. And then everyone loses their mind because the time was out. It was the last car to go over the line, and it was a Ferrari in Monza. Everyone went absolutely nuts. It was the coolest thing to be a part of. And we were right like on the finish line. And so it was just absolutely mayhem. And I thought for sure there's no way that it could get any crazier, right? And then the race was the next day. And we were sitting on the end of the straight before the last corner across the finish line. So this is when they're going like 200 miles an hour into the braking zone and like trying to pass each other through the braking zone if they can time it better than someone else or if they have more grip left or whatever. And so they're just mobbing. And then it's not looking good for Ferrari. It's not looking like they're going to get a podium. Like everyone's on the edge of their seats. The Sainz started in pole position. He started in first. He goes across the line in third. So he's on the podium. And then everyone bum rushes the fence. And there's all these like track stewards that are supposed to like maintain peace and order, you know?
Yeah.
And so the first few that jump the fence are trying to steal the brake markers. You know, like every video game and every race, there's these foam boards, like 100 meters to the brake zone, 80 meters to the brake zone. So they're foam, and they just say 80 on it, and then Rolex on the other side. These guys are climbing this giant fence into the
devil? Just to take one of those?
These things. And the stewards are like, they're like playing keep away. These are like adult men that want to keepsake. They want to loot the racetrack, and they're playing keep away. And this guy was kind of bigger, and he run out of steam, and he just laid on his sign and was holding it, and the track steward like grabbed it from him. And then the other stewards were going around grabbing all the signs and like hiding behind this barricade.
What the
It just
devil?
turned into a mob, man. Every single person, thousands of people are just hopping the fence. And I was like, let's go. And so I talked Em into hopping the fence.
You got her to go over the fence?
So I go
hops
over
the fence.
She gets over to the top and she's like, I can't do it. I was like, just do both legs at the same time. Because every time I see people get hurt is they try
They
to
do one leg and then the other one gets
other,
caught.
And then they scratch it on the top of the fence and then there's blood and it's bad. So I'm like, just go over both feet. And then all of a sudden she just jumps from the top of the fence and I caught her. And then we ran onto the racetrack and everyone's stealing the signs. But I just want to get to the podium so we can see like the fireworks. And
You ran over the racetrack?
Yes, we were running on the racetrack. And the cars do it in a second. So I was like, oh, for sure we'll get there in time for the podium, you know?
Yeah.
And we're like running and running. It was like 90 degrees and we'd been sitting there for like 4 hours in the heat. We were like dying. And you know that Instagram video that went super viral of the little karate kid crying, and they're like, Phoenix, Phoenix, Phoenix. And
I
then
don't
he
think I've
kicks
seen
the
that.
board in half, and they're like, yeah.
No.
Really? This is like the most viral thing
What?
ever in like 2021, maybe?
I might not have been on the internet that year for
Oh.
very long.
Well, Em and I always do it when we're trying to motivate each other to do something hard.
Mm.
Like if it's like, all right, like let's wake up and do something.
You
we
just
don't
get
wanna
up and you
do.
start yelling, Phoenix, Phoenix.
That's
Phoenix.
exactly what we do.
Oh, okay.
So I was like full adrenaline. Like I'm part of the mob fully, and I'm starting to get tuckered out. And so I turn around and I throw my hands up in the air. I'm like, Phoenix, Phoenix, Phoenix. And she's like, okay. And she goes into turbo super drive mode. We get around the corner. People are like climbing the thing that like goes over the finish line with the lights, you know?
Yeah.
People are like all climbing on the wall.
What the devil?
And, like, the safety car is like pulled over in the middle of the racetrack, and people are like taking selfies with the guys driving the safety cars. And I was like, you know what? These guys are in every single broadcast of every single race. Like they are kind of famous, I guess.
Yeah.
Like millions of people see them every weekend.
Yeah. And they get to drive cool cars.
Yeah. Super cool cars. Yeah.
Those cars are always really
Yeah.
cool.
They're
Those are
either
the cars
Aston
I want.
Martins
I don't
or
want the
Mercedes GTRs.
fast baller cars like the Formula One cars. Those aren't as cool as the ones that are driving around the racetrack. Being safety cars.
You think the safety cars are cooler than like the
Absolutely.
$19 million carbon fiber?
They're inconspicuous, man. If I took one of those home, like I could do so much damage on the street with something like a Mercedes GTR or something. Very nice. That's what I would choose.
I don't think this man should be allowed to have a fast car.
Wow. Yeah, I guess you definitely shouldn't be allowed to have a Formula One car.
My insurance doesn't think so either.
Did you check?
You couldn't even insure a Mercedes GTR.
I could. It would just be really expensive. I always
No,
plead.
there's no way.
Yeah,
would let
because I
you.
always plead when I get like a better car or something that I want to insure. I always plead with my insurance company. I was like, "This will be the last time. You won't get any more calls, and it will be fine." And
But
then
you've never had an actually nice car. Because,
Yeah.
like, you know, like, for example,
I haven't had like the name brand stuff.
like
but
if you want a Ford GT or something, they won't just let a random person insure it, especially something that's as young as you.
I have my ways.
No, there's no way.
Yes.
Because what they'd
Yes.
say is, oh, you need to work your way up. Like you need to insure a Miata, and then you need to insure
No, they would
like,
say
a $200,000
you need to
car.
insure a sports car and be like, which one of the 40 sports cars that are on my insurance right now? And they'd be like, huh?
But they're all WRXs.
Yeah,
That's
they're
not
not-
Yeah, that's
WRX
not a sports car.
No, WRX, Miatas, RX-7s, all of them. What are they listed as, and why are they so expensive? Sports cars.
Actually, my truck did have a V8 and a
sports
6-speed.
car.
I had to pay sports car money to
Yeah.
insure my truck. I didn't
It's
realize
ridiculous,
that.
dude. Do you want to know what the most pulled over, most ticketed vehicle in the United States is?
A WRX.
WRX. And so they're so expensive to insure. It's ridiculous.
You have actually like what, 7 right now?
No, I have 5 in the arsenal right now, but none of them drive.
He's been slowly getting rid of them.
I've been getting rid of them. Ever since I sold my shop, I just keep the WRXs around everywhere.
Where are they?
At people's houses, in garage spaces. Oh. But
Well,
what
for
I'm
the race,
saying,
we ended up making it to the podium and we saw the champagne go and the fireworks. And
Oh,
it was
That's
really
very
glad that you
premium.
made it.
I'm glad you made
cool.
it.
But being around that many Ferrari fans in Italy was the coolest thing ever. That was the best vacation I ever had. So that's
Interesting. So what you're saying is if they're a Ferrari fan, then they're cool. But if a whole bunch of Subaru fans came up here, you'd be like, what the devil, man?
it's a different vibe because there it's more like, let's say you're a fan of like football team or whatever. I'm not familiar with the name of a football team, to be honest.
If you're a fan with football team.
But let's say you're a big fan. It's not like you don't even have to play football or like own a jersey, but you can know like about the players and about the strategies, like double loophole touchdown or whatever. And everyone knows that, you know, but it's like you're part of that tribe.
Yeah.
That's like what a Ferrari fan is. Like, not very many people in this world own a Ferrari.
Yeah.
But there are so many people who wear the hat and show up to race day because they like the design, the technology, the drivers. They like the passion. They like the historic value of what Ferrari means for their country and like the image that it portrays throughout the world of what Italy is. Like everyone can rally behind that. And that's kind of like a beautiful context to see like your fellow tribe.
Yeah.
The Subaru community is not that, man.
It's kind of like that though, man.
I think like the WRC era of Subaru is amazing. Mm-hmm. Like that is very cool.
Big wings.
The current era of Subaru boys is like...
Well, that's not the era though. The passion is behind the older vehicles. 2000 or like 1995 to 2008 is kind of where that
so
went.
Specific. Ferrari fans can be proud of all of Enzo's legacy.
Yeah, but now the cars that Enzo isn't making, are they proud of those?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
The F8, dude?
Okay.
Nice. What can you say good about the newest STI?
Not the new. There isn't even the newest STI, man.
What do you mean?
They discontinued it.
See what I mean? There isn't even a race
because
car
they're
version.
trying to take the simple man out of the picture. And the simple man just wants wing, turbo noise, exhaust leak, head gasket.
Yeah, see? Like, think of all the, like, beautiful things that you could look up to what I just said about Ferrari fans. You just said exhaust leak, head gasket, wing, turbo noise. Turbo noise, I mean, I think everyone can gather
The
behind turbo noises.
Quality interior.
That's, I think, kind of affordable and four-wheel drive is what Subaru has going
Premium
for it.
all-wheel drive. Dog friendly. Nice interior. Nice exterior.
See, you can't even say it with a straight face, and it's your favorite car. That's like, remember when we first started the podcast, we were talking about if we had $100,000 or whatever, and you're like, I'd just buy a bunch of Subarus in a field that don't even work. Which Steven wasn't a part of that podcast. He was filming that podcast. What would you do
with $100,000?
Oh man, I didn't prepare for this question today.
Did you?
No, I didn't prepare for this question today. Let me think. I have no idea, dude. I don't even know. Like,
really?
Yeah. I mean, I might fix the doors on my car.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that could be very nice.
Humbling.
What would I do with $100,000? Let's see. What's my time frame? Like, how long do I have to spend this $100,000? Is it like a you got to go out and spend it kind of situation?
This isn't a Mr. Beast video, man. You got all the time you need.
I'd buy a bed frame. I'd probably like take a girl on a really nice date to like a better restaurant than I normally go to, and then I'd put a little bit in my savings, maybe.
This is very responsible.
I'm trying to come up with some. I don't know. I just kind of do whatever I want. So,
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
What about-
my word.
okay, this is going away. I
All
gotta
right.
get my feet up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
the windshield of the destroyed Power Wheels is now destroyed even more. But
Oh, I would
I
get
think we're not offering you enough money
Million.
because when the last
yeah.
$1 million, let's say $1 million.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
if
talk
I had $1
about
million,
irresponsible
I'd
things.
start by buying some oceanfront property in Nicaragua, and then I would
Nice.
get it developed and start a little surf resort. And then once it was self-sustained, little huts, all that stuff, I'd hire a lot of local people, pay them really good for the area. Then I would learn how to surf after that. 'Cause I'm not a
Nice.
good surfer. You can buy citizenship there too. I'd probably do that just for like a backup plan.
You can buy citizenship
in
I think
Nicaragua.
at least you
How
could when I
much?
was there, like 20-30 grand.
Oh, well, that's
cheap.
peasant money.
Easy
if you
way
had $1
to get
million.
another passport, Nicaragua. I don't know if that's still true. Also, there was kind of some like political unrest a few years ago after I was there, so I don't know. Maybe
About
that's
foreigners coming in and
no,
buying
not about
oceanfront
foreigners.
property.
Like the country was basically like at war. It was like kind of savage, actually.
When did this happen?
Isn't Will going
I'm
there?
going to Nicaragua.
It's fine now. Just
Oh,
don't mess with the military.
okay.
They'll mess with you, but you gotta just play it cool.
I'm very nervous of Will going to Nicaragua.
I'm also very nervous because I'm taking my girlfriend. I wouldn't be nervous if it was just me because like I'll be fine. Like,
Just don't do anything I wouldn't.
but
do.
I'm just worried I'm gonna lose her because she's pretty small. You know?
Katie just like swindles away. Into
Yeah, I think she might even be more irresponsible than you are. The more I get to know her,
Yeah.
I was thinking we really ought to have her on the podcast.
Yeah, we should get her on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll do a whole podcast. What is it like to date Will?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking the
Yeah.
title would be.
Let's do that. Let's get her on the
All
podcast.
right, we'll have to find another machine for her to sit in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
I
tells
really
me I'll
like-
never be able to have a girl on the podcast.
Your idea was really good, Steven. I think someone should give this man $1 million. That's a good idea.
Then I would also
He's very responsible.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably get all the tattoos I ever wanted.
And then he'd hire me as like a mentor.
You're going to steal Will from us?
I don't think I could hire Will.
Oh.
I don't think you're hireable, my guy.
Well, I did it, so you know.
Grind Hard is a different kind of company.
Yeah, I guess
If
you
I
were
start a
trying to have
company, it's going to be
legitimate
very
surf
like
hostel.
normal.
Yeah, but you could hire me and you could just like give me room and board and food. And then
You want to work at my hotel that I want to?
no, I want to work in your house. I want to live in your house.
What would you do for me? Will? I
He
don't.
misses the glory days of living in this rich mansion in Seattle.
I want to live in your house.
You
in
got to learn how to do
Nicaragua.
laundry first.
If you buy me like a Subaru and I live in your house in Nicaragua and I have citizenship there, then I'll manage like
He could be my financial manager.
yeah, I'll manage your financial stability and I will increase your livelihood, like happiness.
You'd get bored, man.
You would
You'd
increase
get
my
bored not
happiness.
working at Grind Hard.
I would.
This is the best job ever. For
Yeah, I love this job. It's perfect for me.
Yeah, can you imagine like if you went to like a restaurant or something and Will was the server? Can you
did
imagine?
serve at a restaurant.
I have
in
worked
town.
at lots of restaurants.
Yeah, it's
That's
scary.
frightening. Oh
Trust
my
this man
gosh.
with your food. I say as I sit in his crafted machine. That
Now
almost
you just
killed
trust me with
yesterday.
your life. So
Yeah, I guess I'd trust you with my food if I trust you with my life on a semi-daily basis.
honestly, I would rather trust me with your life than with your food because I work on like greasy things all day.
I'd rather trust you with my life than my finances too.
Has your story changed, Will? If you get $1 million, because I feel like you've done a lot of maturing in the last since we talked about that.
Yeah,
You wouldn't buy a field of Subarus?
no, I wouldn't buy a field of Subarus. I would just buy like,
You were single last time we talked about this. It changes a lot.
yeah, it does change a lot. So I think I wouldn't buy a lot of Subarus. I'd probably only buy like 15, 20 Subarus.
Not a lot.
And
Not a lot,
like
folks.
just like the rally spec ones, so like really rare Subarus, so they
Are you
appreciate in
sure?
value.
See, but you are a Subaru fan.
Yeah, I love Subarus
So
to
if
death.
you get these rare rally spec Subarus that were driven by famous
Yeah.
WRC people and you ruined them, you would be doing the Subaru community a disjustice.
Well, I don't think that's a thing. And here's the thing where we overpower Ferraris 2,000 to 1.
Okay.
I'm buying a world-class rally machine.
Uh-huh.
Nothing I can do to it can break it.
Except roll it into a ditch like Andrew did to his.
Yeah, I know, but what I'd probably do is I'd buy a nice like grind hard size property. somewhere.
Like 8 acres.
And I'd build like a shop that had big stack areas for these Subarus.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then I'd build a rally track and I'd just spend my time.
So if you had $1 million, you would do what you could literally do here for free.
Yeah.
You would just become your own Wish.com version of Ethan.
Yeah.
You get a similar amount of property, a similar rally track.
Can you imagine if all of us had unlimited budgets?
Yeah.
We each had like about 10 acres. And then we weren't allowed to communicate for like 2 or 3 years, but we had infinite budget and could hire people.
And we
how
started
different,
our own YouTube channels.
Imagine how different each of our properties would be.
Will's YouTube channel would be very repetitive and Subaru based.
Head gaskets, man.
No, if I had like full freedom, it'd be very intense, actually. Like if I wasn't being tracked, like if I wasn't being like tracked by work and stuff, like it would be like 12 million horsepower Subaru hits the streets, big wing, tire destruction, police copters involved.
So it'd be
that
more
would
like
be the
Hoonigan.
title of the first YouTube video.
It wouldn't even be clickbait. You actually get arrested, probably.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a legal version of Hoonigan.
Yeah, like a very illegal version of Hoonigan. Like,
But you had a race car. You were building a
yeah.
race car and you sold it.
Yeah, because I did mature to a level where I was like, I want to spend time with my girlfriend and I want to be a responsible boyfriend and I want to have a car that drives places.
It's like very normal request.
And I realized that the car I was building to drive to Grindhard every day required 1 tank of methanol to be filled up every day. It required corn gas, and it required like much maintenance. And the turbo had no anything to like, it would just eat rocks. I would have to fill up a tank of methanol, tank of gas, tank of nitrous to spool the turbo. Like it was going to be like a $200 ordeal to go from Spokane to here and back. Every single day. And I started realizing, I was like, interesting. Maybe I won't be able to drive this car very often. And I spent a lot of money on it.
Is that why you sold it?
Yes.
That's pretty sad.
It's unfortunate.
I liked the little banana car.
I liked Banana Car. And I liked Banana Car when it was medium banana. Because I tried to turn it into sitting on the counter for a couple of months banana, and it just got way more intense than I could handle. I bought big things for it, big grown-up things, big power modifications, and I really just started losing interest after Grindhard shot down my idea of my mission to Seattle. Remember the mission?
yeah, you don't get to do that, Will.
Yeah, I
Will
know.
wanted to do a Cannonball Run, but his own version, which was just going from here to Seattle in how many hours?
To the Space Needle
Uh-huh.
and beating my record of 3 hours and 40 minutes to Seattle.
This is a drive that normally takes people 7 and a half from here.
But I've done it on a street bike really fast, but I realized that I wasn't doing it very fast. I was just
What do you mean?
I realized that you can do it so much more fast
In a car?
if you do it at night, involve like 5 people with cool cars, and then you all take off, don't stop, don't like you take this. There's a couple of little roads that will get you past like all the stops you need to make.
It's called a Cannonball Run. It's a thing.
It is a Cannonball Run, but I wanted to do my own version, so I was building this car to do the Sandpoint to Seattle first annual Cannonball Run, where you make it to the Space Needle as fast as you possibly can. And I was going to try to beat my time, but once I learned
It's
that I
the
couldn't
most
do it,
dangerous road you could do it on. People die on the pass going regular speeds all the time.
Yes.
The
Not
traffic
even in
in
bad
Seattle
weather.
is crazy.
yeah, but can you just imagine the helicopter footage from there? Like, we got a man in a yellow Subaru driving so fast that we can't keep up, and you're just like, sheesh.
That's the thing that scares me about you is like at first I thought you were kind of kidding and you wouldn't actually do these things. And then I realized that you treat life like a video game. Like after the bad things happen, you just restart your character. But it's like when you got arrested last time for speed racing, it was like, oh yeah, like I only have to go on probation and then I'm done and then I can restart. You're like after this just now, you're off your probation. You're like, I don't have any points on my license. I can go get points on my license.
Like
And
it's a good thing.
Not the normal way that people think. Like you really think of life like,
Well, why
I
would
do
they
when I
give you
play a video
points if
game.
you weren't meant to rack them up?
It is weird they call them points. It does
Yeah.
sound like a good thing.
Yeah, when they say you have 12 points on your license, you're like, interesting. Like, how far can I go?
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. It's like when you're playing in a video game, you're not worried about collateral damage. Like
Yeah.
if you run over a person on the street going really fast in a game, you're like, oh, okay, like we're playing Grand Theft Auto. It's chill. But you're kind of like that in real life, which scares me.
But here's the thing. I'm not going to, and this, we won't let this turn into another Will's doing bad things because I'm not now. Right?
Right? I like how you have to ask
posted
us.
a picture on your Instagram of you going 120 in a Subaru just last week.
Yeah, but that was the weekend. And I just had fixed the head gasket, so I was trying to see if it would go to the speed, you know? But it went much faster than I thought it was going to go. So I was just like, nice, good. But then I stopped and I slowed down and I started driving, and I was on the highway. If there's some dude in the highway and I hit him, I'm going to get out of my car and be like, what the devil are you doing in the highway, man? Like, that's ridiculous. If there's someone in the highway at night, that's their problem, unfortunately. But I'm not going to hit them.
Do you guys remember when we were at Holly High Voltage and Ethan like was driving the Tesla and wasn't really paying attention and there was people and you were like, Ethan, there's people in the road. And he's like, they're not even in the crosswalk. Like, do you remember
That's
that?
called jaywalking, and it's super illegal. And if you're doing it on the highway, what the devil,
it
man?
happens and you don't want to kill people.
No, I would hate to do that. But what are you doing in the highway? And it's not like... It sounds like when, on these podcasts.
But see, that's like treating people like NPCs. Why did GTA program these NPCs to be in the highway?
But they're not going to be in the highway.
It's like just because they're in the highway doesn't mean they're not real people with like...
No, that would really suck. And I will never do that. Like, I will never, ever do that. But you got to think. Think of it this way. And I'm going to pitch you guys an idea. Okay?
Hey, I'm
On
just
a-
going to set
all
down
ears.
my mic and I'm going to listen
Don't say
until you're completely
Okay.
done telling me whatever you're about to
Okay,
tell
I'm
me.
going
of
to pitch
why
you guys
it's
an
okay.
idea. It sounds like maybe I'm being reckless, which I don't do this stuff anymore, but I'm talking hypothetically in a world where I did this stuff in the past, which I don't do anymore. But hypothetically, I'm a lot less dangerous than the average 28-year-old woman on Halloween getting their Starbucks and driving, scrolling through multiple social media platforms in a city, because they're not even looking. They've got their hand like kind of on the wheel, steering with their knee, looking at their phone, playing with like whatever fancy Starbucks drink they got. They're not even looking where they're going. And let me tell you, getting hit
I
at
will
40
say men could act like this too.
Yeah, okay. I'm just saying, like, I've been ran over by a woman drinking Starbucks, so that's the picture in my head. But yes, men could definitely act like this too. It's not whatever sex you are, but just saying, like, maybe you went and got your Starbucks, you're looking at your phone, you're driving with one hand, you're not paying attention. That person is a lot more dangerous than me, 2 hands on the wheel, going 150 miles an hour in a car that has big brakes. I'm focused on the road on a highway. The worst thing that could happen is if someone was on the side of the road changing their tire. But I'm always in the fast lane because that's where I belong. Fast lane Willie.
But that's not all you do. Remember the day you went through, you came to work and you were like, guys, I was on the news. I accidentally rode my motorcycle through a police scene and a cop tried to tackle me off my motorcycle because they thought I was fleeing the scene of the crime, even though I drove into the crime scene and then left.
Yeah, why did you drive into the
It's
crime
like
scene?
that. You could have, yes, hit an officer, hit the actual person who did the crime, which actually would have been
pretty
You would have
good.
been like a superhero.
Yeah.
But like, there was literally your friend sent you video because he also was riding motorcycles with you at the time. And it's like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like racing people in like Kennewick at night when there's no one on the highway.
Yeah.
I'm
See,
talking
that's-
about being a speedy boy all the time, even through crime scenes.
Well, the crime scene was, dude. If you had seen this crime scene, you would have gone through it too. Yeah, you would have. Yeah, you would have, man. Because
That camera's dead.
you would have.
Wait. Keep going.
You would have gone through the crime scene because it was in the way. Okay? If you're playing Starfield and there's a big spaceship in the way, what do? Go through it. Go over it.
Through it.
Yeah, or whatever you do. You space travel through it. And that's what I do. I go through things that are in the way, and I didn't really know that I wasn't supposed to go through the crime scene, to be fair.
No, I can't talk sense into this, man. I was just
Because
looking.
it was in the way.
I don't think that it's possible to talk sense into Will.
But, okay, we're talking about the past here. I haven't done these things for a very long time. So we can't give these people an idea that I'm
That's
some
true. You
speedy
have
boy.
been a lot more
I've
responsible
been
recently.
driving so slow. Even I got in my accident, I wasn't even at fault. I wasn't driving fast. I had insurance. I drive to work very slow. It takes me an average of like 2 hours to get here from my house in Post Falls. It used to take me 45 minutes. Do you know how much of a big change that is? I used to be able to like get up at any time and just like start my car and get here in 45 minutes.
Now, what does it take you? Hour and a half?
2 hours.
It does not
Yes.
take that long. I
Yes.
guess if you hit traffic,
It
yeah,
does.
it does.
It takes 2 hours to get here because after work, I get off at 5 and I get home at like 7:30.
That's 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Oh.
How is that even possible?
I really hope you realize this, Will. You admitted guilt and proved my point the
What do you mean?
second I got up to change the camera batteries.
What do you mean?
The first thing you said when I set my microphone down was literally what I accused you of.
What
started
did you
this
accuse me of?
conversation. I said, it's like you treat people like you're playing a video game, but in real life. And you said, if you would have seen this crime scene, you would have driven through it too. Like if you were trying to get somewhere in Starfield, you would go through it. Which, yes,
You would.
I
See?
would go through a crime scene in Starfield to finish my objective because it is a video game, and me tampering with a fake crime scene isn't gonna ruin anybody else's quality of life.
Yeah, but think of it this way. Okay?
Okay.
What if someone's playing me?
Yeah, I totally believe we're in a simulation.
Then I'm just going through the crime scene. I'm not actually tampering with the crime scene. I'm just driving through. And I was just driving through. I wasn't like being loud or anything. I was just crawling through. And this
you
police
weren't
officer,
being loud in your
this
motorcycle.
police officer tried to tackle me. Do you know how bad that would have been for him?
And you.
He would have gotten wrapped up in my tire or something. What if I'd been trying to do a wheelie or something and he tried to tackle me? That would have been
You're the
so
only person
bad.
who thinks about doing wheelies through a crime scene.
I didn't know.
That's exactly my point, though. It's like you're playing a video game, and that is kind of like simulation theory.
Yeah.
Not like we wouldn't be playing our own video game, but it's like there are like experiments to see if we have free will that people talk about, and like they think that like maybe not. Depends.
So
on
what
who
if
you
I
ask.
don't have free will?
Well, you act like you have free will.
No, like what if the person playing me doesn't let me have free will?
Yeah. I think that's where because every single podcast so far has turned into like
A will intervention?
will intervention. And I think that you've gotten to the point where you literally can't describe that what you do is right to such an extreme level. You basically have to prove simulation theory that we all live in a simulation and someone else is playing your character to justify your behavior, which is the epitome
My
of,
past behavior. Past.
you said you were doing wheelies right before you got run over last
Yeah,
month.
but wheelies are legal.
Are they?
No, they're not. It's reckless driving.
Yeah, but they're behaved. Oh, like it's good behavior.
I can't say anything.
You do
about
wheelies
that.
too.
Dude, you wouldn't believe. I was doing wheelies last night in Sandpoint until my fingers were about to fall off. I have holes in my gloves.
Yeah.
And they're so cold. And
Yeah.
like my actual tendons in my hands hurt from hanging on the bars so long.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
So
I went out
that's-
with you the other day and you were wheeling
Yeah,
right down
that's
the middle
what
of the
I'm
road.
saying.
Okay.
So
But that wasn't on a
wheelies-
street bike.
Wheelies are okay.
Yeah. Wheelies are okay. I don't speed to work anymore, and I don't speed back to work.
I may or may not have been doing 60-mile-an-hour wheelies over the bridge on the bike.
What
path
have
just
you?
a couple
What would
days
happen
ago.
if you had hit someone? See what I mean? It's really easy to be like, what if you would do this? But you want to know what I haven't done? Hit anyone, or smack into anyone, or damage anyone, ever.
You know what I've never
Never.
done, Will?
Well,
I've never got a speeding ticket.
Really?
Never. And I actually do kind of drive semi-fast sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
but that's the thing. If you haven't gotten one, you won't get one. But if you get to a certain age, but if you get one, then you will start getting them. It's like compound interest.
It does make it kind of more like a video game. Like when I got my first ticket during my Speedy Boy phase, I was like working and I was living with my parents because I was 16. So like when you work for money and don't have to pay rent or buy food, it's like
Yeah.
the best time to be alive.
Yeah.
And so like I had money and I was like, oh, I was all worried about getting a speeding ticket.
And then you pay them
speeding.
and they're cheap.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that was like one day of working at the restaurant.
Yeah.
I was washing dishes and I was like, oh, it was like $80.
Yeah. But when you do have an apartment and stuff like I do now, you
Then it
start
adds up.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then you realize that there's a loophole, like everything else in life.
There's not a loophole, man.
Yes, there is.
My last speeding ticket I got was in my Sad Boy Beamer and I was racing a diesel boy.
Let me explain.
Dang it, I have been a speedy boy way longer than I thought. But that ticket was $160 and my wife and I had just bought our house and I had no money and I was going to cry, dude.
So that's what I thought too. But I think it's time for you and the people of the internet to learn a really cool loophole.
If
that I
the
learned
loophole
about.
is lying in court, I am not going to do that.
No, you don't have to lie in court. I am myself in court. I show up in my pajamas and still win. But that's not the loophole.
Okay, what's the loophole?
So there's this thing. It's called a payment program. And you can get as many tickets as you want. Like, it can be like so much money, like thousands of dollars of tickets. And they allow you to choose how much you pay them. And you just get a credit card that is solely for the purpose of paying back the state of wherever you're in. At least this works in Idaho. And you say, yes, I would like to pay off $5 a month on your thousands of dollars worth of tickets. And you let it on replay. So every month, you know, I pay the credit card company $5. The credit card company pays the state $5. And then all of a sudden, your credit score starts going up really quickly because you're paying off a debt. And the higher the debt is, the better it is. Very amazing. It's how I raised my credit score. And if you would like any knowledge on it, I'm more than happy to explain this.
How
what
long
about
will you be
interest?
paying this off?
Probably forever.
But interest, right? So
Not They have no interest. The state of Idaho has
So-
no interest.
you pay
So-
$5 and that goes off your total amount and there's no late fees.
Nope.
So let's say you owe, how much do you owe the state of
I
Idaho?
used to owe a lot of money, but now I only owe like
After you won that
$800
court
or
case.
something.
But it was
No.
thousands before.
It was
the court
thousands,
case.
but once I won the court case, it like nullified a
So
lot.
when it was thousands and you were paying $5 a month,
Mm-hmm.
basically you just had to pay $5 a month that went directly to your principal until that loan was gone.
Yep. So
No interest.
no interest. And no interest on the credit card either because you're paying it off every single month. So you're paying the minimum.
What's your credit card score?
I think I'm at like 780 right now.
That actually is
Just-
really
That's
good.
really good.
Just based off of that. That's how I started my credit. Was paying off speeding tickets with a credit card because they didn't think about that.
Because this apartment you're in now is the first one under your name.
Yeah.
So now you have even better credit.
Yep. And that's a loophole that they didn't think. Kids, the one thing I want to let you know right now is there's always a loophole for everything. People don't know this, but there's always something. If you do enough research, you can always find a hole in the matrix.
Wow.
Back to my video game theory.
It's true.
It's really a full circle because in the beginning I was talking about how I like to level up after I play like RPGs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you're just kind of always living in an RPG.
Yeah. But I'm thinking like, why would you want to live life if it wasn't like a video game? People say it's like a bad thing, like you're living life like a video game, but it's like,
Yeah.
why take life so seriously? Like, yeah, I have to pay rent and eat food and
Yeah.
like do normal things, but like, why not? Like, if you do get a ticket, just be like, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Here's why.
Well, it
You're just
sounds
gonna,
like
not-
cheesy and stuff, but like you really don't get down like yeah, like things with your last girlfriend went south, you were a little down, or like when you thought you were gonna go to jail and you were here talking to your lawyer on the phone, you did look very scared.
I was very scared.
Still,
Jail's
like,
not a good place.
Top level compared to if that stuff happened to anyone else I know, they would have been down in the dumps, like really bad anxiety. But you like keep a level head because you really do live like each day to its fullest, and each day like
Yeah,
it's
you
its
just gotta
last,
let
and,
it happen. You gotta let it play out.
Carpe diem.
Life
And, like,
lessons from
the-
Swindle Willie.
The only other person I knew like that, and it's such a cool vibe to be around and stuff. But my friend Vincent in high school was like that, and he really like he told me all the time. He's like, yeah, live life like a video game. Like we used to like jump out of parking garages into trees and like do parkour
Gee.
and stuff and sneak into
Yeah.
construction zones. And we had our own Swindle Willie edition,
Yeah.
like in our 20s. But yeah, he and you, the only people I've met in my entire life who like actually not cheesy live by like carpe diem.
Yeah, and that's actually like my biggest fear. I'm not scared of dying at all. Like, at all. But
I've noticed.
but I am really scared of getting like very damaged, like in a way where I can only use my mind. That freaks me out because then I can't live like that anymore. I have to live by the rules. And that is something that I don't want to do.
Do you though?
What?
If you can get one of those computers you control with your jaw or whatever, you could do illegal things on the internet.
Yeah, it's just like I don't want to ever be in a situation where I can't like
Have adrenaline.
swindle away or like swindle places. Like I like to be able to do my own thing. And if I have to be wheelchaired around or something, I'm going to freak out. I'll freak out. I will just not want to do that. So
I
yeah.
could see that.
Yeah.
The only time I saw you like genuinely freaked out, what happened?
What?
Oh, with your whole heart attack thing on the limo trip.
Yeah, that freaks me out.
He was laying in a snow berm, holding his chest like, don't take me to the hospital. Don't take me to the hospital. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Call my girlfriend. I'm going to die. And like, he was just so sure he was going to die. But he was like, I just don't want to feel like this. Like, he was freaked out and he so badly did not want to go to the hospital. And when we took him, because obviously we're good friends, and then he's sitting there waiting for the doctor and he was freaking out. Way worse than when you thought you were going to go to jail or when your girlfriend totally screwed you over.
Yeah.
Like, the worst I'd ever seen you was just being relatively fine in a hospital bed waiting for the doctor.
Yeah, I hate those situations. I hate the doctor. I hate being like not able to move or something.
Which is why
Very
he still hasn't got his heart thing.
Nope.
I hate the doctor too, probably almost as much as well.
He hates it enough to do surgery on himself. I won't do that.
I just don't get where it comes from. Because like, if I'm damaged, I want help from a professional.
Doctors
I
are
don't
very
trust doctors,
scary.
especially the doctors in this little town.
Well, yeah.
They're janky.
You got to go to Spokane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to drive there unless it's for a date.
And sit there.
But yeah, the other day you could hardly walk. You were so damaged.
Yeah,
You
but
still
that
are
damage is
limping.
getting a little better. I think there might still be a rock stuck in my foot from my last thing because it's still kind of red and it's been like over 2 months. So I might have to re-surgery myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we went full circle on the video
Right
game
back to an
reality.
intervention.
Happy Friday the 13th,
It's Ethan's birthday.
It's Ethan's
It is
birthday
Ethan's
today.
birthday.
On Friday the 13th. That's pretty crazy.
Thanks for watching and listening. Sent and Bent Podcast is available wherever there are podcasts, coming out every Monday. Have a good one.